Now I'm going to introduce Penny, who is one of our grassroots activists from Biker in Newcastle, who's been a regular contributor to our gatherings, which we've been held through lockdown. We're holding on a weekly basis through Zoom. So, afternoon, Penny.
Hello, folks. I've only got what have I got? 13 minutes.
You're a busy woman, Penny.
I am a very busy woman. I've got a school run to do. So
Okay.
now the kids are back at school.
Yeah. So what's been happening on Biker in terms of a kind of community response to the crisis? What's been going on for you locally?
Well, the community response, they set up a mutual aid, which came out of just the fact of different people joining together and supporting other people, which was very good because it started to get to the people that needed it. They did they got me to do cookery. So I was cooking meals, which I still am doing, but not as much. So I cook for the sheltered accommodation. So these were the older folk that couldn't get out. So they got meals twice a week off me, and then 3 times a week off another company that was doing it, which was Food Nation. So we sort of all joined together and all pooled our resources and our know-how on what we could do. They also set up sort of a mini food bank, but there was no restrictions on who could get it. So it was a case of if you needed food, you got it. And also things like going and picking prescriptions up and taking dogs for a walk and, go and do people shopping if they couldn't get out, which was, really good to get back into some sort of community spirit, which has helped a lot on the estate.
What kind of a place would you say Biker is?
Biker's very multicultural. I would say there's just about everywhere from every country living in Biker. It's not a massive estate. I mean, there is the old town and the new estate, but I would say it's about a 60-40 split, where I think I would say 40% of the estate actually works, 60% don't.
So there's a lot of poverty around.
There's an awful lot of poverty around, but there's an awful lot of pride around as well.
Yeah.
So this is what we've been working on over the last 3 years, is to sort of get people to open up and say, well, actually, I could do with some help. And we do it in a way that, it doesn't make them feel worthless or useless.
And what's your own situation, Penny?
I am still unemployed. I now get carer's allowance, which, means I don't have to have the hassle of looking for a job. I'm still basically volunteering 7 days a week. So I'm still on the go, constantly fielding messages, dropping food off, things like that. Doing Zoom conferences, take part in people's, papers, research and stuff like that. So I'm still pretty active for all. I don't leave the house too often, and I certainly don't leave the estate very often.
So even though you've kind of been stuck at home, you're still being part of the community response?
Yeah, very much so.
And how important is it to you that there is a kind of community level response? It's not just the council or kind of statutory agencies. The people looking after themselves, really.
It's a pride thing. You run about reducing the stigma. People are still proud people. Just because they haven't got anything doesn't mean to say they don't have pride. So it's knowing what they are and what they're about, where they can come and knock on your door and say, well, I'm a bit short this week. Have you got anything to help us out? And they know they can come and do that with neighbours now as well, and think, well, if I'm a bit stuck, I can go and ask such and such. And it's you know, it's not making them feel worthless.
Mm.
But then they also know that somebody can knock on them and say, well, I've got extra of this, so I'll share that with you.
And that, I guess, is what mutual aid is, isn't it? It's people helping each other out. And one week it might be you're the helper, and the next week it might be that you need a bit of help.
Exactly. You know, yes, I've had to have people go and pick up my prescription, especially in the first month where we weren't allowed out at all. You know, so other people were going and doing our stuff, getting shopping in and knowing who's got what supermarket's got what in, because there was such a shortage. So it was a case of, you know, you pass that knowledge on. Oh, by the way, I got extra bag of pasta. Does anybody need it? You know, and it was just joining up the dots like that and making it more community focused and not just a handout.
Yeah. So what would you say to people that would say, you know, there isn't the kind of community spirit that there used to be in you know, the kind of estate that you're on?
There is now. More people are realising that community is everything. People talk more to each other. Your neighbours talk more to each other.
So actually, that's a kind of positive. I mean, you know, we could talk for hours about the negatives about the crisis, but that's actually something that's come out of the situation.
It's something that's very good. It's also highlighted where there are a lot of digital exclusion that we have on this estate.
Mm.
But it's also highlighted the fact that, you know, other people are willing to share. You know, if you can't do a universal credit online because you don't have the facilities, you know, your neighbour will pop up and say, well, you know, you can come and use it in our house. I can't print me free school meal vouchers off. That's fine. I've got a printer. You know, I'll print them off for you. So that's the type of thing. I mean, nobody's got anything, but what little bit we have we'll share with whoever.
That's a great parable, I think, or yeah, of sharing. So thanks for coming on, Penny. Great, keep up the good work. Keep smiling, and I better not keep you too long away from doing your school run.
Yep, I've got to go and pick 3 little kiddies up.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you again soon, and hope the sun keeps smiling on Byker.